Cast, Saturday, December 14th, The King, live as one of the best holiday performances you will ever see. It's funny, entertaining, inspiring, and an all-around good time for the entire family. Writer, director, producer Danielle Gully captivates her audience with a phenomenal production, led by an all-star cast. Local favorite and headliner Grace Williamson, fan favorite Deancy Wyatt as Grinch, starring gospel legend Dorinda Clark Cole of the Clark Sisters, Q Parker from the hit R&B group 112 as Scrooge, and guest starring Carl Anthony Payne from the Martin Lawrence Show as Santa Claus. You don't want to miss The King. Saturday, December 14th, one day, two performances at the Summit Church in San Antonio, Texas. Get your tickets today at daniellegully.com. Sponsored by B Properties, Now Word Covenant Church, Resurrection Baptist Church, New Creation Christian Fellowship, Sound Design, Love Soul Marketing, Anise Aesthetics, Med Spa. Get your tickets today at daniellegully.com.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're viewing from. This is Laura Thompson, your friendly, fabulous, feisty, fierce, and phenomenal creator and CEO of TAN TV, the African American Network, where we have a local feel with the global reach, and you're tuned into the coffee break. And tonight we're doing another recap before the election. This is our last recap before the election. And we have some very, 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 very special guests to come on and talk about what their opinions are. We're going to dig a little bit deeper into the debate, and then some of the local elections too. We hadn't really talked about those. So before we get started, I wanted to bring our panelists in so that you can see the esteemed guest that we have to talk about the election today. So our first guest is Mr. Gordon Benjamin. And Mr. Benjamin he's been working with the election for many, many years and with voter registration. And so he is going to come in and tell us a little bit about who he is and what he does. Producer.
I don't see, I don't see Mr. Ben. He just came back. I don't see him.
So we're going to.
Okay, here we go. Boom, there he is.
Good
so
evening.
Mr. Benjamin, how you doing?
Fine, and yourself?
I'm doing good. Hadn't seen you in a couple of weeks, and we wanted to get you back because you're just always so informative and giving us the 411 on your insight on elections and voting and voter registration. So just tell us briefly, about 30 seconds, who you are, what you do, and what's going on with the election a little bit.
My name is Gordon Benjamin, and I am a 1966 graduate of Brackenridge High School, graduated from Prairie View A&M University in 1971, a bachelor's degree in political science. I spent 20 years living out in Phoenix, Arizona from 1988 until 2009. And upon returning here, I've become a volunteer deputy registrar, worked on a couple, 2 or 3 political campaigns. And my belief is that the more informed the voters are, the greater the turnout. When people recognize where they fit in with some of the issues that may be getting attention or may not be getting attention, then they feel that it's important for them to become engaged and go out and cast their vote.
Awesome. Well, so thank you and welcome. So our next guest is Pastor Patrick Jones. Last time we were going to have him on, he prioritized his granddaughter's volleyball game, and so we wanted to make sure that he had an opportunity to come back and participate in this conversation. So welcome, Pastor Jones, and could you tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, why you do it, all those good things?
Yes, Pastor Patrick Jones. I'm a pastor over at Greater Pilgrim Rest Baptist Church. I'm a native San Antonian. Mr. Benjamin know I'm a native San Antonian. He was my little league football coach back in the 60s. Used to give me a real hard time on the football field. Graduate Sam Houston High School. I have a doctorate in divinity. And I love my community. I love working with people. And I agree that informing and educating our people on voting is one of the most important things that we can do, not especially in this election, but period.
Awesome. So thank you and welcome. So our next guest is the fabulous Nika Cleaver. And Nika is a great community advocate as well. She's a media mogul, and she's done and led multiple projects, including entrepreneurial projects, community service projects, giveaway projects, food and gifts during Christmas, all different types of things. So tell us a little bit more about yourself in about 30 seconds, what you do,
Oh,
where you
you know,
do
I can't talk. I can't say nothing in 30 seconds. Lord, what you talking about?
it.
Um, hey, everybody. I am just here because I don't think like everybody else. And my big old mouth will prove it. But yeah, no, you know what she said. I'm a person of the people, man, and I've always been, and everything that I do is because of. And so the way I think, the way I vote, the way I do, like everything about it is because I know that it'll help the people and get the people to a better place. So that's all I can say when it comes to anything that I say in the future of this broadcast. Just know I've done my research, I've read, and I believe that it will help the people because that's what I'm all about.
Awesome, awesome. So thank you, Miss Nika, for joining us tonight. And last but not least, comedian Shucky Ducky. He's been a staple in this conversation since we started talking about the election and politics. So how you doing, Shucky Ducky?
Well, I'm doing good. I can't follow all these credentials that everybody have. I haven't graduated with no divinity, no political science. I'm not. I'm an ex-convict. No, and I just got my opinions, and my opinions might not be right. They might not be wrong, but they my opinions. I'm gonna stick with them until somebody proves me wrong.
There we go.
And voting is like being in a corporation. You got voting shares, so I'm finna vote my share, whatever the share is, and get my fair share of the pie.
Wow,
Mhm.
so that's awesome. So welcome everybody. I look forward to this conversation. It's election time, and in order to vote, you've got to be registered to vote. And so the voter registration guru on this panel tonight is Mr. Gordon Benjamin. So I'd like you to give a little briefing on the significance of voting. The voting deadlines is coming up on us in a few days, and so in order for people to be ready, they need to be registered. So give us a little summary on that.
Well, the deadline to register for and to be able to vote in the upcoming November 5th general president special election is October the 7th. That's Monday of next week. And the early voting begins on October 21st through November the 1st. And there are some 60 sites, I believe is what has been published and broadcast, where people can go and vote early. And in order to avoid the long lines that are anticipated, it would be wise for people to go and vote. You can use your driver's license or your state ID card. And in the event that a person doesn't have any of that voter ID, required ID, because generally they just verify your name, your address, your date of birth to match what's on file with Bexar County elections. And I think there are 1,258,000, like 371, if I remember correctly, people who are registered to vote in Bexar County. And sometimes only 38 to 46% of the registered voters actually go and vote in several different elections. I've had the opportunity to write about that in the past. So a lot of the community-based organizations and faith-based organizations do a bang-up job, knock down, drag out of registering people to vote, but somehow the message doesn't go far enough in order for people to turn around and go and vote when it's election time. So that leaves us with less than 50% of the registered voters making decisions for the remainder of the population, of the registered population, who doesn't see the importance of going to vote. Your
Because they
vote
have
is
it
your
on a
voice.
Tuesday.
Huh?
Because you got to vote on a Tuesday.
Yeah. That's the way it's been for
I
years and
know that
years.
everybody be at work.
Well, it's been common knowledge that you can ask for 2 hours off to go and vote, even if you have to go work.
True, the
And
line will
that's
be
why.
by the line is 4 hours.
All right. And what has happened in the past, there used to be you could only vote at your precinct or you could vote at certain locations during early voting. But within the last 5 years, Bexar County election and maybe across the state come up with the plan to say, you can vote anywhere in Bexar County as long as you are a registered voter.
No.
So that means, you don't have to go to Copernicus. You don't have to go to Claude Black. You can now go to any one of the junior college campuses, Northeast Vista, Northwest. You can go to Our Lady of the Lake. You can go to San Antonio College. There were people who were signing up at Trinity University the other day. I'm not sure that that's an early voting site, but there are 7 different junior college campuses within Bexar County that's going to have early voting on at those locations, and that's something that didn't take place 4 years ago.
Okay.
Or
Wow.
even 8 years ago.
Well, we just have
So
to get people.
that's the beauty of early voting, because you can early vote anywhere in Bexar County within that 10-day period from October 21st to November the 1st.
Okay, so
Right.
you're a political science major, so therefore you understand that you have 200 some thousand registered voters, and you know that only 40% of the people vote out of that 200 some thousand people. Then so y'all have to really try to get at least 1%, 10%, between 10% of the people more than that 40% in order to make a difference.
Well, there are 1,258,371 registered voters in Bexar County.
Right.
And
I'm
some
just
of
saying, I'm just talking about Bexar County, and then you multiply that overall at each county.
Okay, well, I can't speak for what happens in Travis County. I can't speak for what happens down in Frio, down in Falfurrias, and different other places like that, because sometimes there's not enough information or accurate information for you to be able to make a determination as to what percentage turned out in that particular county. And I don't know that the Secretary of State keeps up with individual counties of the 254 counties in the state of Texas. So
Right. So
Travis
the
County
bottom
has
so
a
the
high
bottom
turnout.
line so the bottom line is October 7th is
October 7th is the last day to register.
to vote. So
Early voting starts
that's
October the 21st to November the 1st. And on election day, the polls open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
well, that is awesome. Thank you so much for that very important information. So I wanted to ask this question, and I'm going to direct it to Nika first. What should voters be looking for in a candidate?
I think people should be looking for what lines up to their families, their life, and their situation. Um, uh, you need to read what they do. You need to read. Sorry, I have a massager on back here. It's going crazy on me. But you need to read policies. You need to look at what they've done in the past. You need to look at actions and not headlines. You need to align what you want in your life and your future to what they're actually doing. You need to read. You need to read. You need to watch. You need to look. You need to listen. You need to follow. Like I literally watched biographies on people and everything else to understand how they work, how they think, how they move. And then does that align with what I want to do and what my future is? Like it's more than just oh, I live here, or, oh, I look like this for me. I believe everybody truly, truly, truly needs to dig down into each candidate and figure out what's best. And you might find that you don't want the right or the left, you want the green. And if that's the case, you need to stand strong in it and stand strong with it. But you really need to research candidates past what anybody tells you. Do it yourself, research it yourself.
So Shucky Ducky.
Well,
What's
I'll
your
say this: a lot of times people don't do all that researching and all that kind of stuff. They're looking at how where you speak, or how you comb your hair, or if you use God in your speech or some sort like that. That's how times a lot of people vote. But I tell people, if you're going to vote, make sure the most important vote is your local voting. They use national figures so you can vote at the top of the ticket and go straight Democratic or straight Republican. So that's the reason why they get the person that's most popular. But you want to really do your research on your local politicians, because them the one that's going to affect you the most, and them the one that you can go to their house, you can go to the chambers, because you ain't going to drive all the way up to Washington D.C., but you sure can drive to Austin. And you sure can go down 35 and get to Austin, and go to your local mayors and all those people representatives. So those the people that's most important is your local politicians. Whether they're Republican or Democrat, you need to search them out, because they're going to affect you more than the president of the United States.
All right, thank you. So, Pastor Brown. Jones. I know somebody named Patrick Brown, so I'm sorry. So Pastor Jones, besides debates, how can a voter get information to make an informed decision?
Well, I agree. I mean, everyone that has spoken has said research. And if you don't have the means to research, then you ought to connect with someone that does their research, does their homework. You need to connect with someone that is informed, and I think that's the whole key is information. Me myself, I don't think debates do enough. If you're talking, I agree with really dealing with the local and state politicians first. Our national elected officials, they have to be influenced by our locals. Our locals literally have to influence them. So I would continue to say research, and if you can't research, connect with someone that is well informed.
So, Mr. Benjamin, what do you think? Besides debates, how can a voter get information to make informed decisions? You're on mute, I think. We can't hear you, Mr. Benjamin. Can't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you're talking to yourself.
Yes. I just didn't see myself.
Well, we see you talking to yourself.
Okay, I got you. I would have to agree with the group as far as research is concerned. And then there's the connections that Pastor Jones mentioned, that if you get with someone who has connect with someone who has information on the candidates, the League of Women Voters does a survey of candidates at the local and state level and publishes that. Some candidates choose not to respond to the surveys that the LWV sends out, but you can find out how they respond to certain pertinent questions that have come to the League of Women Voters and then posed to the candidates. And then to look at the policies, what kind of policy are they going to have that impacts, school choice or school funding? How are they going to help us, help the community have access to food? And what about the housing issues? Where do they stand on those kinds of things? And I've always tried to recommend to people, say, to those things that matter to you, see which candidate supports the things that really matter to you: the children's education, the crime and safety in the neighborhood, and the various different things that impact everybody's everyday life. And again, as Chuck said, it starts at the local level. And once you have made that contact with them, let them know that, if we're going to change policies, you change policymakers. If we want to change laws, you need to change lawmakers. And that starts with getting everybody on board and driving the issue that this is something that needs to be done for the benefit of the overall community, not just one individual or one group, but for everybody concerned.
Wow. Okay. So this next question is a little sticky. Someone made a comment when we were on last week, and I just wanted to bring up this question. Should a candidate be allowed to run for political office with criminal convictions? Nika.
Hell no.
Yeah, especially if it's not in the law that they can. Like, at the end of the day, Oh gosh, look, being someone who was convicted without anything going on with it, the same stuff in the public without nothing happening in the back, who ran an election and did all of this stuff too. Like, yeah, because one, if it's not in the laws, then what are we arguing about? Because go to Austin or go wherever and change the law first. I have learned that being a street advocate. And if we want to talk about everybody's ethics and morals, we can go down the road of what everybody's done that's not ethically and morally correct in somebody's world. So if you don't like the law, go change the law. But until the law changes, then yeah, they get to run.
I would still come
So,
to
so,
this fact.
so,
I would come to this fact. If a person, if the average American citizen cannot attain an apartment or hold a decent job with a criminal conviction, then I believe our president should not be able to have 34 to 90 felony convictions on his record.
Until it becomes part of our situation. Because right now, we try to fight to get that question off of applications and everything else. Yes. So we've got to change the law.
And
So at the end of the day, it goes back to the same situation. In fact,
when that changes, I'd be okay with a criminal running for president.
Well, he
yeah,
has
you got to change the law first.
he have
And I mean, and you're correct. He has not.
he
So
have
I mean, like at the end of the day, it's that all okay, I got to.
34.
but he haven't been convicted.
He's been convicted.
He's not been convicted yet. He still got appeals going on, and he still got appeals going on.
Appeals are one thing, but they are convictions.
Yeah, but you also have to let if that's the case, then you have to let the whole process flow out. If that's what you're going to be, if you're going to be of right, if you're going to be of laws, if you're going to be of God, then you got to let the whole thing flow out. Because I have a lot of appeals too that I didn't do nothing with, but because I was in the wrong place at the wrong time with somebody who might not have been the right type of person saying something, then it's a conviction. So no, I don't agree with that. You have to let it all play out.
According to the law, he's a convicted felon.
so, Mr. Benjamin, what do you think?
Well, when the law says that you cannot be a convicted felon and be registered to vote, that prohibits you from taking part in the franchise. If you have a conviction and you're either on probation or parole, it doesn't mention appeals, but that's what it says about being eligible to vote. And the gray area in terms of while the appeal is going on is where the Republican candidate for president of the United States is thriving, because there's a gray area where there's no specific barrier to his being able to run. And in that gray area, he's just a loose cannon all over the deck of the ship, because it doesn't prohibit him from running, and it doesn't prohibit him from saying some of the things that he's saying that has nothing to do with the policies that are going to be affected by his being the president of the United States. I want to be a dictator on day one. I want to give the police one day to just be rough with everybody. All of these types of things are merely distractions, in my opinion.
We're in dictatorship right now. They told you who was going to run for president. You didn't get a vote on that. That's a whole nother story. That's okay.
Yeah, that's more dictatorship than anything. And another
thing, because they didn't tell you, they didn't give you no choice at all.
You study political science, and you know a lot of stuff is rhetoric. A lot of stuff is just people just throwing stuff out there where to get attention, and people take that and run with it and change it. Just like when Biden said, if you vote somebody, you're going to be in change. He was really talking about change, but he was talking about everybody talking about you're going to be back in change. So there's a lot of rhetoric going on, and a lot of people are taking this stuff literally and for seriously, and it's not that. It's just a lot of sarcasm.
And it's a distraction. That is the distraction that keeps people, yes.
Let me say this. In 1963, when John F. Kennedy was assassinated, LBJ was the vice president. And then so he ran in 64, he ran for president of the United States of America. He ran against Barry Goldwater, Senator Barry Goldwater. And I was in the first grade, and in the neighborhood, the rumor was if Barry Goldwater became president of the United States in '64, that he was going to put all black people, take all black people, go back to Africa. LBJ won by a landslide. He won by a landslide, and the policies that LBJ put in place right now has affected the black community more than anything, any policies in the United States of America.
Wow. Any other comments or?
Well, what I see as having happened with the situation, because what we define as civil rights came about as a result of the changes that needed to have been made. In 1963, we had the assassination of Medgar Evers in Mississippi. The March on Washington in August of '63. The first assassination was in June of that year. Then we had the March on Washington, where Dr. King spoke so eloquently. Then on the 15th of September, 1963, the Ku Klux Klan bombed the 16th Street Baptist Church, costing 4 little girls their lives. John F. Kennedy was assassinated November 22nd, 1963. All right. So all of these things culminated in there needed to be a stance taken by political entities, beginning with LBJ, in order for there to be some changes made so that the public that was going to vote did not feel that they were going to be threatened by an administration coming in from the Republican side. Because as history reflects, the Republicans post-Civil War, in the first 10 years after the Civil War, the Republican Party was made up of free blacks who had the right to vote. And the Democrats were the ones at that particular time. And it was only in the 60s where they began to change into a different party, because that's what they wanted to do, was to gain power. So they became the Republicans. And this is what they had, the Southern strategy. So therefore,
and then some man said, if we wanted to keep the black people in chains, we'll get them to vote Democrat for the next 40 years.
Well, it just flipped the script. And I think that's how it's been referred to. But at the same time, all of these things happen, and as a result of Lyndon Johnson being in the White House and the impact of the Civil Rights Movement, he signed the 1964 Civil Rights Act and the 1965 Voting Rights Act, because the power structure, the white supremacist power structure, was bound and determined not to have African Americans represented in the ballot, at the ballot box. They were going to do whatever it took, and they had been doing that since 1877.
Well, Brother Benjamin, you sound real good, but why are we still in the same predicament still in 2024?
Nobody has a vision. Nobody has had a different vision as to how to change these things. Everybody has tried to work within the system that's been established. But going back to the 1700s, the only people who could vote was going to be a white man that owned property. And women didn't get the right to vote until the early, excuse me just a second. And the only time women got the right to vote was in the early 1900s, 1912, 1920, or somewhere along there. So all the benefits of the power system and white supremacy fell on into the laps of white men. They have never been disenfranchised.
Okay, so what is white supremacy?
Had to wait.
What is white supremacy? What is white
It's
supremacy?
a title that white people get a pass.
Is what?
It's a title that suggests white men get a pass. That's it, in my opinion. It can be defined in a lot of different ways by a lot of different people.
Now, could it be defined with the Christian church?
I don't know.
Could white supremacy be the result of evangelicals and still Christianity? Could that still be the institution of white supremacy?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if that's what they espouse.
I mean, the one thing that I agree that you said was that we continue to try to work in a system that was not built for us. That is an absolute true statement. So at the end of the day, why do we keep arguing about a system that's not built for us when we know it's not? So you have to go out of the system. It doesn't matter who is in the system, whether they're black, a woman, a man, a white, or this. It's the system that's not built for us. So that is one thing that you are absolutely correct about. So arguing what side of the system really don't make no sense. as a black person that wants to try to actually get what we're actually due. I mean, could we
But
agree on that?
yeah, it's the vision of what needs to be changed in order to benefit us, right? As
But
African
it's not going to
Americans.
change in a system that was not built for us. And the reason why I know is because Barack Obama was president. That's why I know. So it doesn't matter if we have someone that looks just like us or talks like us or we like or it sounds good. The system is still not going to change for us. This America right now is horrible. What we are
And
living, what Americans are living, is not a good situation right now. But we want to skip over that. We want to skip
and what
over
happened?
all of that.
And what happened when Barack Obama was president? The Senate and the House were under the control of the Republicans, and they were not going to let him have wins or institute anything
And,
that
And that's the
and
same
some
thing you said
and,
about Trump. Trump and his
and
had the
some
opposite of
Democrats voted.
whatever.
Some Democrats blocked it as well. So it wasn't all Republicans. Some Democrats did it as well.
Oh yeah, Joe Manchin
So,
to bring one
so,
in play. Christian
so let me.
Sinema out of Arizona. Those were Democrats.
So the next question is: Does
Well,
race matter?
can I answer one thing right quick?
Yes, sir.
I won't take but a second. I agree. Shucky Ducky, I agree with you. In the evangelical movement, there is some white supremacy mixed in there. I just want to answer that question. Yes, I believe that wholeheartedly. When you hear them speak, you know who they are. So now the Christian church as a whole, we don't subscribe to white supremacy. But they're the evangelical, the white evangelical, yeah.
Well, Pastor Jones, I'm gonna say this: as long as you got that white Jesus up there, you in white supremacy.
I don't even have I don't even have a Jesus nowhere. I don't have a picture of Jesus nowhere. I don't have a picture of Jesus anywhere.
Oh, that's you. I'm just telling you.
I'm saying I don't own a picture of Jesus. I don't own it. I believe in him, but I don't own it. A picture of him. I'm not that pagan guy. This is my mother on my chain.
So when it comes to voting, or when it comes to a presidential candidate or a political candidate, does race matter?
No, not at all. Whether it's local, national, or anything. And I told Laura earlier, I said, I'm a bad person to ask because I done been through things and I done seen it and it happened to me. And everybody that I can look around and look at, be a black person, a black woman, a black this, a black that. So no, it doesn't. The person, their works, their heart, what they've done before matters.
Okay, so my next question is: during the presidential debate, what did President Trump promise to the American people just during the debate?
He's gonna close the borders. He's gonna close the borders. He don't want no wars. He's tired of people dying. He want to try to raise the economy. He's gonna try to bring manufacturing back to the United States, because when Clinton took it out with NAFTA, and so therefore he had a plan.
What's the plan?
That's the plan.
If y'all want an A, B, C, D, E, I went to
Economics solves everything. Economics solves everything.
I mean, you can say something, that don't make it a plan.
Well, all politicians just say something just to be saying something.
right?
At least come with some,
I ain't heard no politician come up with say, now at first we're gonna do, and then A, and then C, and then I've never heard that before ever with no election of any politician.
Well, I have.
Ever.
I have.
No, I haven't.
So
not the step by step. They tell you the overview. They tell you what they're looking at. They tell you the overview, but I ain't never heard the step by step implementation.
Well, I tell you what, I came from a middle class family, and no.
You're silly. You're silly. You're silly. Hey, where people love their lawns. Where people love their lawns.
And watch Greens in the bathtub. You watching Greens in the bathtub. I don't even watch chitlins in the bathtub.
Let's get out of here. Get
There
out of
are
here.
politicians that will say anything in order to get a soundbite. And then the media plays a big part in it because they will play up what the politician has said, and then nobody holds them accountable. But they can critique the opponent, down to the bones, to the bare bones of
But you
what he
don't
or
think
she.
both sides do that? Don't both sides do that though, sir? Like both
Yeah,
sides do that though.
well,
We're not gonna
both
just
sides.
pretend like it's one side.
No,
Right.
it's not one-sided. I said there are politicians. I didn't say
Okay.
that was only
Okay.
one politician. I didn't say
Okay.
that there
But
was
you're
just
about to
some.
go in on one politician though.
So,
You were about to
so,
go in on
so,
one.
Well,
well,
the fact of the
this was
fact of the matter
One
is,
has mastered it.
how does a person
They've all
appeal to
mastered it.
how does a person appeal to the general public? And if the media controls the image or the message that's getting out there, their influences then overtakes the message from the politician. All right, or from the
You're absolutely
candidate.
correct. Now who's the media? Now who owns what media? Now let's talk about that because you're right. So who owns what media?
All the corporation billionaires own the corporations that profess to be the media.
Yeah, but we
No,
got
no,
we,
no,
we got we
no.
got new sheriffs in town. All these podcasters and alternative
Yes,
media
right,
is making a whole change, making everything totally different. Everybody ain't
right.
believing what the major media is saying anymore.
Because
Everybody's
media
going
is
by podcasts
owned.
and people that they trust and know that's going to tell them the truth.
Yes, because media is owned by people. I know that you don't want to believe that, but that news channel is owned by somebody. It is sponsored by somebody. They get paid to be there. This is not free news. This is controlled news. I don't care what station you're looking at. Everything's got money behind it. So follow the money. Go find out who owns that news station, who invests the most in that news station, and then you can find out why the rhetoric sounds like it does on both
JP Morgan,
sides.
JP
so you
Morgan.
tuned into TAN TV, the
And
African
most
American Network,
podcasters
where we have a
have
local
have
feel
someone
with
behind
the
them.
global reach. And we're going to be right back. We're going to take a station break.
I done drunk up all my alcohol. Golly.
Welcome to the coffee break with your girl Goldie. And today we have Reginald Brahman Ballard. How you doing?
I'm just dandy. You know, y'all say y'all was gonna have some sandwiches, but I don't see them.
Yo, what's up? This bruh man from the fifth floor. And look at here. I'm searching for the perfect sandwich. So I want y'all to register at www.theafricanamericannetwork.com to join my sandwich community. It's gonna be all that. And look at here. Want y'all invite me to your city if you think you got the perfect sandwich. And I ain't talking about no served sandwiches either. Peace.
So we're back, and we're having a great conversation on both sides. We've got some great feedback from all of the panelists, and we got a viewer, Marquez Delion, and he said, "Vote Trump. The ILA is closing ports for Harris. Dems are holding American hostage." He said, yes, church is white supremacy. And he said, close the borders. So our next question is the same question that I asked about Trump, President Trump. What did Kamala Harris promise during the debate?
Nothing.
She said she was going to give a $50,000 tax break to startup businesses, where a startup business don't even need a $50,000 tax break. They need $50,000 to start their business. So I'm quite sure how that's going to help. But you know,
So Pastor Jones,
What did she promise?
yeah, during the debate,
Well,
what
she
did he promise?
promised border control, and they even talked about the border control that the great former president killed. The $25,000 to increase home ownership. those are some of the things. And I think the tax break for startup businesses is a good thing. So those are some of the promises that she made.
So, Shucky Ducky,
Nothing.
Nika.
I mean, look, I thought she was gonna cry a couple of times, so I'm not sure, but you know,
No, Nika.
the
No, Nika.
Lord says when he ain't got nothing nice to say.
I almost thought he was gonna cry a few times.
A few times, she was gonna cry a few times. She didn't know what to do. She was kind of like, oh, she was taking back way lots to me.
Did y'all see that?
To me, she wants to go talk to world leaders like a school teacher. I'm sorry, that's
Did you
not why
see?
I'm here. I'm sorry.
Did you see that debate that she not debate? Did you see that standalone interview she had on MSNBC?
Yes,
And it
yes,
was not. It still was the same fluff. It still was nothing. It's nothing.
right, right.
Nothing.
So no. Okay. So my next question is, nobody's really talking about healthcare. Healthcare is been a real big issue uh, in this country for a long, long time.
We're talking about
Uh,
Obamacare.
no, not Obamacare, not that part of it, not
And
the
they had
insurance,
Trump care. Remember that?
but
What Trump care was?
not the
When he was
insurance part.
president, he had Trump care.
You talking about Operation Warp Speed? That what you talking about?
No, Trump care. Yeah, that Trump care was supposed to have taken the
Well,
place of
well,
Obamacare.
well, you
It's
know,
better.
But
Pastor,
that's not
Pastor.
American. We have a lot of health issues as people,
Oh yeah, especially when you're older. Yeah, you
and
got a whole
so
lot of issues.
and so and they have insurance coverage to cover it, but a lot of times they're not really curing the illnesses. They're not really, and I don't hear presidents talking or candidates talking about how uh, they're going to really not just ensure health care, but actually take care of people and get them well.
Well,
Because I don't think that's the bottom line of America anyway. When it has it ever been? Medicine and all of that is big money bank business. So it's never been to cure anything. It's always been to patch it up. So at the end of the day, no president has ever really talked about the outside of insurance and health insurance because it comes with, your job and this, that, and the other. But at the end of the day, I've never heard a leader of any kind talk about how to actually cure disease or actually have preventative disease and stop it. That's something that you're going to hear more along on the local level if there's a program or something that's in the works. Now, that's what I'm going to say. We got to go back and look at any money or funding that has been allocated to programs so they can start initiatives that trickle down from the Treasury into the different states, to the different cities that provide money, education, and certain things like that. A lot of that stuff is available, but what? We don't know about it. They don't advertise it. There's no marketing attached to it. And the people who do work in those areas are not connected to the community, so the community still doesn't know.
Well,
that's what I would say.
if you go back and look,
I
Trump criticized Obamacare. But if you go back and look at it, one of the main insurance companies that was a participant in Obamacare was owned by who? Donald Trump and his son-in-law. The name of the company is Oscar. Go look it up. So that's what kind of faith he had in Obama. In Obamacare, he put his own.
But they wrote the policies where the insurance company made the decision and not the people. So if you're gonna play by the policy, that's just like he was saying in that debate when it was Hillary. They made the rules, therefore he's gonna go by what the rules are. And so a lot of times, every billionaire that is a billionaire got a contract with the United States government, because when you got a contract with the United States government, you got a locked-in clientele. If you get that clientele for 4 to 5 years, you automatically become a billionaire.
But if you're gonna kill
absolutely, which is the same people that we brought down August 1st through 4th, that a lot of people miss the opportunity in seeing and understanding how to work with the government to get those billion-dollar contracts available right now.
As president, kill it and don't participate in it.
He couldn't wait. He's not a king. He can't
He
kill.
said he was
He's not
gonna
a
kill
king.
it,
He can't
but
kill
he
nothing. It's the
participated.
Congress and the
Ducky.
legislature and the Senate.
Well, you have to understand, Trump said that as the same thing when they were saying, oh, he didn't pay taxes, whatever. He said Obama and Biden wrote the tax thing. I followed it, and I didn't have to pay my whatever taxes it is. So again, why are we getting mad? Because you followed
I'm not
whatever
mad at
opportunity
all.
was out there.
I'm not
That's,
mad.
I mean,
Just
come
know the
on. That
right.
half the things that these people are doing, and when I say these people, I mean the people that have more knowledge of things that you can write off, do, create to not have to pay certain taxes. I mean, let's be honest. Why did 922 churches pop up between a 10-year span when they realized there was a tax break? It was everybody had a church using that same situation. So there was an opportunity to do something. That was the law. That was the rules. You used it. You did it. That's what you did.
Well, let me tell you something. I don't care who's in office. I don't care if it's a Republican. I don't care if it's a Democrat. I always strive and I always made it. I mean, I always find some kind of way to make something happen for myself because really it comes down to me. It comes down to me.
That's
I
right.
have to use the laws of the land. I've got to use whoever in political office, what the atmosphere is, and use it for my benefit. And so I ain't looking for nobody to help me for the health, because my health is wealth. And so therefore, I've got to eat the right things. I can't be listening to all this rhetoric and all this kind of stuff and making me seem like that I don't know nothing. We in the information age. Anything we need to know, we can find it out on that internet. And we can dig deeper and find on that internet. So a lot of this stuff is on us. We're looking for a Messiah. We're looking for somebody to take care of us. When you're looking at the person that's going to help you right in your face, right in the mirror, you got to get out there and make it happen.
Wow.
Because God lives in you, baby. He lives in you.
You tuned into TAN TV, the African
And one of the
American
things
Network.
involved with insurance, and I didn't hear anybody mention, was pre-existing conditions. And one of the facets of the tenets of the Obamacare coverage was that insurance companies could not deny an insured person because of a pre-existing condition. Now, that didn't make the condition go away, but it afforded them an opportunity to get treatment for that particular condition. The Republicans in the House, as well as the Senate, tried 64 times to repeal Obamacare when Barack Obama was president, and they never made it. They never got rid of it. And when Donald Trump was asked, did he have a plan to replace the insurance as we know it, he said he had concepts of a plan. So his vision, right, had nothing to do with what the people needed. His vision had something to do so that he wouldn't be held accountable for making a statement with regards to what was his plan to replace Obamacare.
I wouldn't tell you my plan.
I know, but how is that?
I wouldn't tell you
I don't agree with that at all.
I wouldn't tell you.
I don't agree with that at all.
My plan. I told you.
And at the same time, that's the same thing. If people say, "Well, what are you gonna do to District 2?" And when you're not in office, you're not in office. You don't have the resources. You don't have the situations going on. All I can do is plan. And when he was in office, he said, "Look, I don't have something to be able to replace the whole thing," so he kept it. So I don't even understand what the argument is. He didn't take it away. So and I mean, we're talking about like false stories, because that's not what happened. He said, "I don't have the whole thing in works, so we got to keep Obamacare." Obamacare got kept, and it's still here today. So what's the argument about? Exactly.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe, like I said, I'm different. I'm sorry.
So you're tuned into TAN TV, the African American Network, where we have a local feel with the global reach, and we're having a very, very upbeat, energetic conversation about some of political affairs that we've been going through for many, many years, and it doesn't seem like it's going to change. But we're going to take a station break, and we'll be right back. We're back, and we're having a great conversation, a great recap, and we're getting into our final stretch. So the conversation that we've had, I think, has been great and insightful on both sides. But I wanted to kind of wrap it up by asking everybody, why vote? Um, if you don't think things are going to change or if they're still the same, why is it important to vote anyway? Shucky Ducky.
Well, maybe just make you feel good to vote. I don't know. I can't. I can say that. I don't know if it make a difference. Does, but like I said, the most important part of voting is your local politicians. That's where it's most effective at. It's not. If we look at the national and get all upset about the national who's running on the top of the ticket, but the most important people is on the bottom of the ticket because they're more close. All politics is local, so that's where your interest must be. And that's where your research must be into, because those are the people you can reach and get to.
Mr. Benjamin? Why?
I vote because it has power. And I think when you look at what Chucky just said, as far as the local, the state, and the national levels, if voting didn't have an impact, why do so many different states and state legislatures go through these changes to keep people from voting? And at least you have an opportunity to voice your opinion, and you can contact the local people and let that message filter right on all the way up to the top. But I think it gives the person a voice, and it makes them feel that they can execute that because they have a vision as to what they want to see happen, whether it's on the local, the state, or the national level.
Pastor?
I vote because it's my right and my privilege to vote. I think voting is important for everyone. I think everybody that's eligible to vote should vote. I'm really not even that concerned with who they vote for. And I agree with Shucky. I said it again. I think the local front is the most important front for me. But when it comes to nationals, I try to check out the heart of the individual. I really do. And I know that's a hard thing to do, but with just by hearing a person, I know that's difficult. But I think there are some cases that people show you what they really think of you and who you are.
So, Nika.
Well, I vote so I can talk shit.
So you can what?
No, I mean, that's so I can talk shit. That's why I vote. No, honestly, to be my honest self, I think there's cheating all the way down the board, from local levels all the way up. I feel like I don't feel. I know I've seen it happen. I know, but at the end of the day, I still vote because that's, hey, it's been in me. I know that that's my right. I know people died and fought for that right to do. It allows me to be able to voice my opinion and say it strongly and live heartily and stand behind it through my vote. So, that's why I continue to do that. But more than anything, again, I'm a person of the people. So if we want to change anything around us and through our community or about your life or about yourself, you got to be the one responsible. You got to do it with your two hands and your 2 feet. You got to bring your people in your community together and figure out what y'all need on an individual level and on a mass level, so everybody can move forward. Those are the things that make a difference. When we talk about certain people, Martin Luther King or Malcolm X or whatever, we didn't vote for them. These were not people who were in office. These were people who went out there and put their hands to feet and actually tried to make change and did so. And I am a person who has made change and has done so by putting my hand to feet to ground. So that's why I can talk the mess that I talk and the way I feel the way that I feel, because I've been there. And I'm not somebody that just listened to it on the headlines or read about it. No, I've been in it. And I fought for my people. I fought for my community. I fought for my businesses. And I've sacrificed myself for it all. So yes, it's my voice. It's my right. And I stand tall in it.
Who's your favorite football team?
Dallas Cowboys. God dang it! They suck.
That's why you're talking shit too.
They're going to the Super Bowl this year.
Super
They
Bowl.
always go to the Super Bowl. All I need is one point. They go to the Super Bowl. Ain't nothing like my '90s Cowboys, but it was my daddy's team. I lost both of my parents, so there's certain things that I hold on to because it keeps the memory of them with me. And my daddy was a Cowboys fan, and we used to watch games when I was
Well, I
little.
hope you
So
keep on riding that
I can't let
Titanic.
it
Then
down.
go on, get on that
That's
Titanic.
all it is, baby. That's all it is. Hey, look, I'm very smart. I know where we really going during the Super Bowl.
So I have one final question. I know Shucky talked about voting local, and I mean everybody just kind of agreed that voting local was the best route. But what type of relationships do y'all have with local politicians, and what kind of impact has that allowed you to make in the community as a result of those relationships, Mr. Benjamin?
I have a distant relationship with the local
Okay.
representatives, starting with District 2. But at the same time, I'd like to get more information out on everybody who's running for office so that the public is better informed and they can make their decision as to who they want to support.
Okay. Pastor Jones.
I can pick up my phone and call any elected official and many of our state officials, state elected officials. I will not call our District 2 representation. That's just off. That's just off for me. But all of the others, I've been able to have relationship, senators, congressmen, even some of the national. I can pick up the phone and call. And some of the things that I need done, they do. Some of the things I need done, they can't. They don't.
Okay. Nika.
I know most of the elected officials. Many of them use my platform to even get elected and just to get their voice out, especially to the Black community and the District 2 community. I can pick up the phone, call the mayor, call whoever I need to. The relationships are great when when they're of action. They're horrible when they are not, because when they're not of action, it's like, well, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Because the type of person that I am or that Patrick is, what we're out here doing. So why is it that we can't make a way to make this work? Because this is what we elected you to do. So that's when the stuff gets frustrating. When they're able to do it and do it quickly, then hallelujah. So glad that we have this relationship. And that's just the way it is. It's just like business at the end of the day.
Shucky Ducky.
Yes, I'm in good with the my district or District 4. Councilwoman Carolyn Arnold is our district leader, councilperson for our district, and I was with her at the Prairie View and Grambling golf tournament that they have every year, and so it's good to have that connection. And John Wiley Price is a good person that I talk to sometimes. But it's good to have those connections with your politicians because you can get some things done. You can walk in those rooms and have some ideas, and they can help you and guide you along with those stuff that you have for your community. There's more to it than just going talking to code enforcement about people ain't picking up their trash and all that kind of stuff. There's monies out there for streets, for sidewalks. There's money out there for redevelopment. There's TIF money. There's a lot of different money, but sometimes we're not organized and we don't have the organization or the right type of organization or format to receive those monies, because sometimes people think it's about getting rich quick, but no, it's a community. We're working towards to build a better community, and we got to build that community economically wise, spiritually wise, health wise. We got to do all of those type of things to make a healthy community, and it takes all moving parts to make it happen, from the politicians to the community. And politicians don't really move too much. They'll stay still unless the community rise up and start asking questions. And sometimes
You better say it.
we have to put the politicians' feet to the fire, and sometimes we just sit back and dormant and put somebody in office and hope they be the messiah and make sure they take care of everybody. But no, they don't know everybody.
Yes.
problems, and you got to be able to have an organization in your community to address certain things that's affecting your community. And so that's where it comes in. It's a partnership between the politicians and the community, because the politicians can't get into office without the community, and the community can't get much done without the politicians.
Wow. So again,
Good
this has been
stuff.
a great conversation. I want to thank everybody for taking the time out of their busy schedule to have this very important conversation. You've been tuned into the recap on TAN TV, the African American Network, where we have a local feel with the global region. Thank you, Ms. Nika, Pastor Jones, Shucky Ducky, and Mr. Gordon Benjamin for giving us all of this insightful information. And again, we're going to stay tuned for the next great conversation on TAN TV, the African American Network, where we have a local feel with the global reach. Ciao.
Where we have a local feel with a global reach. Amen.
Where you can watch anytime, anywhere, any place, on anything. That's what I'm talking about.
There's no more setting your DVRs no more.
That's just saying. I'm just saying.
Yep, you can watch us on all social media platforms, on Roku, all Apple Android devices, Amazon Fire Stick, and tan.tv, tan with 2 A's.
Tan with 2 A's. Hey.
See you later, good people. Everybody be great.
All
May
right.
the Lord bless you all.
Bless
Awesome. So where's our producer?